everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Tuesday, April 12th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. I will start with a roll call.
June Gagnon.
John Meyer.
Raj Shivak.
Brian Bright.
Mary Ann Gennati.
Katie O'Neill.
Okay, and let's see. Just not here. The alternates here tonight.
Yes, Kevin Hawkins.
Kevin, wait for Brian. First thing on the agenda is Z 2022-2275, Planning and Zoning Commission, applying for the amendment to zoning regulations for accessory dwelling units, so-called ADUs.
We are short several members tonight. I'd like to hold off on the hearing until next month.
That is a fact.
I'd kind of like to hear the people that are here tonight if possible, that would like to speak on it.
Oh, I have no objection. Both want to come up.
Prior to
Make
the
comments.
question, will this go back to another public hearing next month, too? Or is this going to end the public hearing?
No, we could choose to not even start the public hearing and just do it next month, or we can start it this month or continue.
Continue it? Okay.
Yeah.
The members that are not present will simply have to listen to the record
All righty.
or read the minutes.
What are we short on? 2?
3.
I don't know. I think it's best that we table this till next. Given that we've got such a shortage of hours. This is important.
Yeah, if we could continue the hearing next month, isn't it possible to hear the people that are here first and then table it?
Yes, we absolutely can.
Okay.
It's just the members that are not here would not hear that
Well,
testimony.
not yet.
Right.
They can listen to the recording.
They can read it or listen to the recording.
Yeah, they'll have to do that in order to.
All right.
Okay, well, let's move forward then.
Okay. So we're looking to amend the accessory apartment regulations, changing it to a more modern term, which is accessory dwelling units, or ADUs. And for people that are unfamiliar, we have always allowed for accessory apartments up to 600 square feet attached to or within a primary dwelling, which is a residential house. Required direct interior access. One electric meter. So we're looking to loosen up the regulations a little bit. And we're getting rid of the traditional accessory apartment. We're looking to get rid of the traditional accessory apartment definition, which is a second dwelling unit contained within a single-family residence building and which is clearly subordinate to the main dwelling unit. Main dwelling unit being the primary house. And looking to change that to accessory dwelling unit, ADU, attached to a residential unit. A residential dwelling that is accessory to and secondary to the primary dwelling of the property is adjoined to the primary dwelling by a common wall or floor, which has to be heated living space that is not a hallway, stairwell, or entryway, or located within the primary structure, has direct access between the primary dwelling and the ADU by interior style door or opening. So essentially this would be in addition to your house. Accessory dwelling unit detached in a residential district. A residential dwelling that is accessory to and secondary to the primary dwelling of the property that is not joined to the primary dwelling by a common wall or floor, or is not located within the primary structure, or does not have direct access between the primary dwelling and the ADU by interior style door of opening. What this would allow for is if you have, say, a loft above a garage, but you do not have direct access between the garage and the house, that would be a detached ADU. It also refers to an ADU that is in a building that is away from the primary house, so an outbuilding. Accessory dwelling unit attached in a commercial district. A A residential dwelling that is located within or attached to a commercial structure that is secondary to the commercial use of the property. Now, under RA 60 districts, we're looking to add the text. This would actually allow for it in the RA 60 districts, what I just read was definitions. So 7.21K, accessory dwelling units attached to a single-family structure not exceeding 900 square feet of livable floor area, 1 ADU per lot. And that would be an increase from 600 square foot max to 900 square foot max. Replace with 7.21.1C, accessory dwelling unit attached to a single-family structure with over 900 square feet of livable floor area, or accessory dwelling unit detached in conjunction with a single-family structure. So this would allow for over 900 square feet. Accessory dwelling unit attached to a single-family structure not exceeding 900 square feet of livable floor area, 1 ADU per lot. So we're looking to delete accessory apartments under 7.22.1D and replace it with accessory dwelling unit attached to a single-family structure with over 900 square foot livable floor area, or accessory dwelling unit detached in conjunction with a single-family structure, 1 ADU per lot. In the RA 30 zoning districts, and it's just the same language, accessory dwelling unit attached to a single-family structure not exceeding 900 square feet. Goes on to have the same for the RA 19 district. Now, for standards for the accessory dwelling units, we're looking to add a set of new standards. 1 attached ADU per lot permitted in conjunction with a single-family structure. Either the primary residence or the ADU must be owner-occupied. Maximum size of 900 square foot livable floor area. Must maintain the appearance of a single-family structure. The ZEO reserves the right to require exterior elevations, which means architectural drawings when an addition is proposed, as well as an A2 survey site plan. Not more than 1 bedroom is permitted. Not more than 1.5 bathrooms are permitted. Shall not have a separate driveway access, except the ZEO may waive this requirement if a second driveway access currently exists. They shall not have a separate electric meter. Shall meet all required building, fire, and public health codes. Applicant must demonstrate that the ADU will have at least 2 off-street parking spaces in addition to the 2 off-street spaces required for the primary dwelling. Floor plans are required. So we're looking to delete 12.28, which is special permit requirements, and replace it with new special permit requirements. Accessory dwelling units. Attached accessory dwelling units exceeding 900 square feet livable floor area or having more than 1 bedroom in a residential district. Attached ADUs exceeding 900 square feet of livable floor area may have more than 1 bedroom, may be allowed by special permit in all residential districts when attached to a single-family structure, subject to the following requirements. So this is for an attached accessory dwelling unit to a house with direct pass-through, but somebody wants one larger than 900 square feet. 1 ADU per lot, either the primary dwelling or the ADU must be owner-occupied, maximum size of 1,200 square foot livable floor area, and shall not exceed 75% of the livable floor area of the primary dwelling for additions. Must maintain the appearance of a single-family structure. Exterior elevations, architectural drawings are required when an addition is proposed. An A2 survey site plan may be required. No more than 2 bedrooms are permitted. No more than 2.5 bathrooms are permitted. Shall not have a separate driveway access, except that the Commission may grant a waiver if a separate driveway access currently exists. Shall not have a separate electric meter. Shall meet all required building, fire, and public health codes. Applicant must demonstrate that the ADU will have at least 2 off-street parking spaces in addition to the 2 off-street spaces required for the primary dwelling. Floor plans are required for the primary dwelling and the ADU. For detached accessory dwelling units, which require a special permit. 1 ADU per lot. Either the primary dwelling or the ADU must be owner occupied. For ADUs attached to the primary dwelling that do not meet the definition of attached, meaning they do not have direct pass-through, they are not joined by a common wall, this is, say, a loft above a garage. For ADUs that do not meet the primary, or ADUs attached to the primary dwelling that do not meet the definition of attached, the livable floor area must not exceed 75% of the livable floor area of the primary dwelling, with a maximum of 1,200 square foot livable floor area. For ADUs located above or below the primary dwelling that do not meet the definition of an attached ADU, livable floor area may equal 100% of the livable floor area of the primary dwelling, not to exceed 1,200 square feet. So this means basically if you have a ranch and you want to put an ADU in the basement, you can use the entire basement. If you have a colonial and you want to use the entire second floor, you could use the entire second floor, providing that neither of those exceed 1,200. For ADUs located in an outbuilding, the livable floor area may equal 100% of the livable floor area of the primary dwelling, not to exceed 1,200 square feet. So in a detached building, you would be able to go up to the same size as the house, but you could not exceed 1,200 square feet. Additions constructed for an ADU must maintain the appearance of a single-family structure. Exterior elevations, architectural drawings are required when an addition is proposed. An A2 survey site plan may be required. It is encouraged that new structures, outbuildings, constructed for an ADU have the appearance of a residential building rather than a second house. The Commission shall have architectural review oversight to maintain the character of the neighborhood. Exterior elevations, architectural drawings are required. An A2 survey site plan may be required. Floor plans are required for the primary dwelling in the ADU. No more than 2 bedrooms are permitted. No more than 2.5 bathrooms are permitted. Shall not have a separate driveway access except that the Commission may grant a waiver if a separate driveway access currently exists. Shall not have a separate electric meter, except that the Commission may grant a waiver for ADUs located in an outbuilding if the applicant can prove that there will be an exceptional difficulty connecting the ADU to the primary dwelling, or if the ADU is to be constructed within an existing outbuilding that currently has an existing electric meter. Shall meet all required building, fire, and public health codes. Applicant must demonstrate that the ADU will have at least 2 off-street parking spaces in addition to the 2 off-street parking spaces required for the primary dwelling. The Commission reserves the right to require additional building setbacks and/or screening requirements for ADUs located in an outbuilding. Now, for commercial zones, a special permit is required for ADUs. And we are deleting all the text that we currently have for commercial accessory apartments. Replacing it with accessory dwelling units in a commercial district. ADUs are allowed by special permit in all commercial districts as an accessory use to the commercial building subject to the following conditions. Only 1 ADU is permitted to occupy the primary commercial floor area or be attached to the commercial structure as an addition. And the livable floor area of the ADU must not exceed 100% of the floor area occupied by or dedicated to the commercial use. A scale floor plan of the ADU and commercial use areas must be provided showing dimensions and area calculations. So basically what that means is if somebody had a commercial building and they wanted to divide it in half, they could do so and put half residential, half commercial. Multiple ADUs may be permitted either above or below the primary commercial floor. Detailed floor plans are required. Livable floor area for any ADU must not exceed 1,200 square feet per unit with a maximum of 2 bedrooms per unit. Exterior elevations, architectural drawings are required for any additions to the structure along with an A2 survey site plan. 2 off-street parking spaces must be provided per unit and shall not be at the expense of required parking spaces for the commercial uses. An A2 survey site plan is required to show compliance with the requirements for parking and egress. It may be waived by the Commission with a 3/4 vote. Adequate lighting of exterior pedestrian areas must be provided. ADUs must meet all building, fire, and public health codes. And then one last thing, that section has a number that replaces the application for special permit section of the regulations. So we are adjusting that number from 12.28.3 to 12.28.4.
12.5.
It's actually in your packet.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Oh,
If you look on the last page of the ADU regulations.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, so that's all the text.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Is there any other staff comments?
Public comment?
Any,
I have a question.
oh, hang on just a moment, sir. Is anyone here to speak either in favor of or against this proposed change in the regulations? Please feel free to come forth and give your name and say what you have to say.
Paul Sweet, 260 New Road, Moosa. I appreciate the work you're doing under the accessory apartment regulations, and it's an honorable thing to bring these up to date and to make them a little more easier. However, there's a couple things I'm more interested. I can't speak to the commercial and all that language. I can't remember everything you said, but I can remember this much. I'm for accessory apartments. I'm speaking now for folks that have to take care of their folks or a sick relative, whether it be a brother or sister, parents, whatever that might be. There's more of that, more and more of that now with the economy the way it is, and nursing home costs a lot of money. I was fortunate to get a permit from you folks years ago to take care of my mother. So I'm all for this idea of accessory apartments. This one thing I don't quite understand, and I try to catch your explanation. This detached 1,200 square foot facility or building. Well, let's just use me for an example. I live up on a hill, right? And I have a house and I got farmland and all that stuff. So if I want to put an accessory apartment, here's my point. I don't want to see an abuse, and I may be all wrong in this, but if I go pop up a 1,200 square foot apartment, and then I go pop another one, then let's just say I go up to my hayfield and I put 6 of them in, that's an abuse. Right. Is there some police action in there where you're not going down the road and seeing people putting up, you know, some people only live in a 1,200 square foot apartment or a small house. And so, you know what I'm saying? Guys, I'm not going to take advantage of it, I don't think, but somebody might want to take advantage of it because they see an opportunity here. There's something in that regulation to police this? And,
Yes. So the way the text is currently proposed, you're allowed 1 ADU per lot.
1 per the lot that you're on.
Right. So you have a lot.
Okay.
If you have a single family house, you're allowed 1 ADU. It can be attached to the house or it can be in an outbuilding.
So and I don't want to belabor this one. So I moved down and I have another building lot. I built another house. I still have that same opportunity to have that too?
Well, you would, however, the house has to be owner occupied. So you could not put up a house and rent it out and rent out an ADU.
I understand. You know where I'm going with this. You know, developers, I have nothing against developers, but, you know, that could be the new thing, you know, and I just want to make sure. But I want to be on record, I support accessory apartments. We got to take care of our family and sick people, and I hope you never have to see it, but I do appreciate the fact that you update your regulations. I can't speak to the commercial and all that other stuff. I get it, but that's not why I'm here. Thank you.
And just so the public is clear, this is what is proposed. We're here to listen to the public, see what your comments are, and we can make adjustments.
Anybody else?
Art Gagny, Jackson Road. I trust you all got my letter.
Trust.
If you'd like me to read it, I will, but otherwise, I'm here if you have any questions from me. If not, I have some questions for you.
If you would like the letter to be part of the record,
I definitely would.
then you should read it in.
Okay. Plainfield, Connecticut Commission members. I'm writing to the Commission with some concerns I have with upcoming zoning regulation amendments being proposed by the Planning and Zoning Commission. Z 2022-2275 text amendment for accessory dwelling units, ADU. The current regulation allows for one accessory apartment per lot for all residential zones by special permit. It must be attached to the house and may, could you excuse me for a second? Sorry. And maintain the appearance of a single-family dwelling. It must have at least 3 rooms, including a bathroom, private kitchen, and bedroom. Only one bedroom is allowed. It cannot exceed 600 square feet. The house must be owner-occupied and have a direct interior access door to the accessory apartment. No more than 2 people shall occupy the apartment. Also, in commercial zones, 1 accessory apartment is permitted by special permit. To give you a little history of how we got here, in 2021, legislation was being proposed at state level to take control of local municipalities' planning and zoning commissions. A resolution was signed by the Board of Selectmen, Zoning Board of Appeals, and Planning and Zoning Commission in May of 2021 in support of home rule in municipal zoning decision-making. Resolving to oppose any state-mandated one-size-fits-all zoning legislation and the ability of any outside housing authority to have jurisdiction over our town's affordable housing plan. The Affordable Housing Plan came out of legislation passed in 2017 requiring municipalities to adopt an affordable housing plan. In April of 2020, the town planner came to the Board of Selectmen with a grant request for $15,000 to hire someone to assist in writing an affordable housing plan. We received the grant in July 2020 and contracted Type Planning and Policy Group, who presented in June of 2021. In this plan are 2 things that concern me. 1, changing regulations for ADUs by right, and 2, developing regulations to allow for retrofit of larger homes. Older homes would be my biggest concern. The Affordable Housing Plan was adopted in October of 2021. Also in October of 2021, the Planning and Zoning Commission was given a staff report from the zoning enforcement officer with recommendations on ADUs. In that report, he writes, in August, this commission voted to opt out of the state legislation that pushed new ADU regulations on towns. The opt-out was ratified by the Board of Selectmen, and Plainfield is now exempt from those requirements. The state's vision is to allow any single-family home to have at least 1 ADU by right, with additional units allowed by special permit. These units can be attached or detached. The state's goal is to add rental units to the market. While rental units are in high demand and adding to the rental base is an admirable goal, I'm not sure if the Commission feels that is the best route for a single-family residential zone, as it may change the character or cause issues for neighbors. The Commission may be open to an attached or detached rental-style ADU in the RA60 and RA40 zones by special permit, with certain setback requirements and screening. For example, a detached ADU on Finn Lane may not be a good fit. The houses are close together for an RA60 zone and have no screening. However, if there is a larger lot in the woods with plenty of screening, a rental ADU may not be an issue. Our RA30 and RA19 zones allow for multifamily, up to 4 units in a building. RA19 requires ½ acre per dwelling unit. RA30 requires ¾ acre per dwelling unit. Possibly the Commission would consider allowing a rental style ADU in these zones, where only a single-family dwelling currently exists on the lot. This could be attached or detached, and seeing how these zones allow for multifamily, the ADU would not be inconsistent with the intent of those zones. Although I feel that any detached ADU should require a special permit. These are all things to consider prior to designing new regulations for ADUs. If the commission feels that the intent of the current regulations are what is best for the town, I would suggest simply changing the title to ADU, allow ADUs by right, no special permit, and increase the maximum size to 700 or 800 square feet. Over the past 20 years, I cannot ever recall an accessory apartment being denied, providing that it met the requirements, regulations. With the current regulations, a special permit is simply a formality that can be handed over to the ZEO to ease the burden on the applicant. I have also fielded many complaints that the maximum size of 600 square feet makes it difficult when designing for ADA wheelchair accessibility and is simply a bit too small of a footprint. I included this text of the ZEO's report so you could see what the recommendations were. At the December 2021 Planning and Zoning meeting, the Commission discussed what changes they may want. At the January meeting, the ZEO had proposed changes ready for the Commission. At the February meeting, it was put on the agenda as Z 2022-2275, requesting a text amendment to zoning regulations for ADUs, and was sent to public hearing for April 12, 2022. The amendments include changing the title from accessory apartment to accessory dwelling unit, ADU, allowing ADUs by right for most single-family homes. By right would mean that the applicant would be approved solely by the ZEO. The ADUs could be up to 900 square feet with no minimum size. Up to 1,200 square feet would be allowed by special permit. It could be attached or detached. There is no lot size limitation other than yard setbacks. It takes away the limit of 2 occupants per unit. Having lived in this rural community for over 30 years now, and having talked to a lot of residents in that time, it seems most people like the small town feel of Plainfield. I think changing these regulations so drastically may have an adverse effect on our population, as it appears these new regulations would create more rental units than accessory apartments for family members. Allowing larger ADUs in RA 19 and RA 30 zones could also increase density in these areas, considering how multifamily units have a lot size requirement and these ADUs would not. If the town is looking to put in rental units, they should look at the Plan of Conservation and Development, which states that we should have more high-density housing and also elderly housing for each village. I haven't mentioned affordable housing much because these amendments are about ADUs, but the town may consider in the future amending regulations which could require housing developers to include a certain percentage of deed-restricted units into their projects to help satisfy the state's mandated affordable housing plan. There have been 4 accessory apartments approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission in the past year. I don't think it's a great imposition for an applicant to go before the Commission for approval. ADUs by special permit require a public hearing, which allows for any neighbors to speak on the application. Not having a public hearing could also allow for environmental issues to be overlooked. I would like to see the regulations continue to have all ADUs by special permit, not by right. I would also like to see a lot size requirement for ADUs, as in multifamily, RA 19 requiring ½ acre per unit, and RA 30 requiring 3/4 acres per unit. I believe this should apply to RA 40 and RA 60 zones also, being as how some of these lots are less than ½ acre. If the lot size requirement can't be satisfied, the regulations should only allow for 1-bedroom, 900 square foot attached ADUs on these lots. I also believe that 1,200 square feet is more than you need for an ADU, but if the Commission leaves that in, I hope you reserve that for lots with substantial acreage and proper screening from neighbors. I want to thank you for taking the time to read this, and hope the Commission will consider these few recommendations. Please contact us if you have any questions. If you have any questions, I'll take them out.
Is this concerning these regulations that just came out tonight?
Yes. Does that help?
I wanted, you say, do I need something?
I do. Any other questions? Okay, so besides the title change to ADU and the size to 900 square feet for ADA compliance, why are we making the other changes? Why are we increasing?
To give the public more option.
For accessory, we gotta remember this is accessory apartments, not rental units, they're accessory.
Now, they can be rental units.
Then we should be looking at the regulations for rentals, not for accessory apartments.
Well, these are ADUs, we're doing away with the accessory apartment regulations. We're going to the more modern term of accessory dwelling units, which it can be either for family or for rental.
Okay. So, inspections, when a tenant moves out, are we gonna have inspections? These ADUs, no inspections?
Not by state law.
Do we have inspections on rentals?
Only
Supposed to.
Only for,
When a tenant moves out, it's supposed to be inspected.
I think, more than a duplex. So possibly four family.
So if it's like a triple decker, it would have an inspection.
Yes, single family and duplexes do not need inspections. I'm not sure if it kicks in at three family or four family.
We might have to check the ordinance on that one. That might need to be
I
changed.
don't know if it's an ordinance or if it's fire
It's in
code.
the ordinance.
That goes through a different, it's not through zoning.
Okay, who inspects the building department?
Yes.
Is in charge of inspection?
Fire marshal, I believe.
Fire marshal.
I think they're both supposed to inspect it.
Fire marshal, not building.
Okay, so then it brings up my other question. If we're going to have rentals, are we trying to grow the population? You're also a commission of planning. So are we planning to grow our population?
Planning?
Because if we're going to add rentals,
I would suggest that this is going to be continued.
Excuse me, can I have your name and address?
Oh, Susan Hall, Central Village.
Thank you.
This is going to be continued next month, is that what you said? The hearing is going to be continued, so people, remember, there was no agenda online explaining your meeting, so I think there could be some kind of legality to that, where people that really wanted to be here did not know this. The only reason I know is that I was at your last meeting, and you mentioned it. So, that's one thing to think about. Also, I would suggest copies of your proposed amendments for the public to see. I mean, you explained it, but if we could remember 2% of it, I'd be amazed.
You can stop
So
at the
I would
office
think-
and we'll get you a copy.
I think the copy should have been here ahead of time, not making people go to the town hall to look at it. I think it should be at your meeting or at the public, the public hearing. I still don't know why we're doing this. The town opted out of what has been said. It was opted out. Who was pushing for us to change these amendments? What happened? Ryan, are you the one that's pushing it, or is it our planner?
No,
Then who?
we asked the commission if they'd like to loosen up the regulations a little, and they did.
Were you asked?
So, just
Were
to be,
you asked?
Ma'am, please.
just to be clear, what the state had was very far-reaching, allowed for a whole lot more than what we're proposing here.
But why the Board of Selectmen opted out, your commission opted out, but we're still trying to make things easier to, I have no problem with in-law apartments, but I don't want to see a lot of rentals on other people's property. Just one change, and we couldn't, it was hard to hear what you were saying, so I don't know what I wrote is correct. So, bear with me. So just making one change, no public hearing for neighbors to make comments on problems it could cause for them. For example, lighting, water runoff, and other environmental issues decision to allow or disallow detached or attached unit or building will be decided by just the zoning enforcement officer,
That is incorrect.
okay?
So
That-
if you
It's not
have,
just you making the decision, they're going to make the decision.
for attached structures, for an addition or something within the building, up to 900 square feet, yes, I would sign off on that. So ADUs that have direct pass-through through an interior style door, which is essentially a part of the house, I can sign off on that. If it's going to be in a detached building, or if it's not going to have direct access into the house, that has to go to public hearing. That's a special permit.
What has been the average footage of the accessory units that you have okayed in the last couple of years?
Well, they've all gone through a special permit to the commission, but the max has been 600 square feet since the 1970s.
Driveway requirements and number of vehicles will change. Will there be enough space so not to cause problems to neighbors' property?
Yes.
United States Post Office will have to change the house numbering.
No, they will not. It will not have a second house number.
How are they going to get their mail?
It goes to the primary dwelling.
These are all the little tiny things that are not thought about. I mean, you have a lot of information, but when it actually comes down to the practical of it, surge usage, will detached buildings owners be required to connect to their system, or will they be piggyback on present connection? You don't know,
No, they would-
okay?
if it's attached to the house, it most likely would be tied into the current,
Right, are the pipes going to be big enough? Or are we going to have a surge problem where it meets the road? I mean, our surge system is in the middle of all kinds of updates. And, you know, if you have a detached connection, what's going to happen there? If it's detached from the house, where's the surge going?
depends on the easiest route.
It's going where?
It depends on the easiest route.
So they're going to have to dig up their property and put piping in to attach to the street,
Or the primary house,
or to the primary house.
or into a septic system.
Okay. I mean, these are property line requirements. I don't know what they are. You have some now, but I think they're like 50 feet. So, you know, could you have this 50 feet from your property line? Anyone can live in them because they're no longer considered an in-law apartment.
Well, they were never an in-law apartment, they were accessory apartments.
Well, they
We could
were
never-
at one time.
We
in
could,
the
no, they were
amendments.
always called accessory apartments, and we've never been able to control who lives there.
So in closing, regulations should continue to have all proposed accessory dwelling units by special permit before the Planning and Zoning Board. Also, all neighbors impacted by a proposed ADU should be able to participate at a public hearing to voice their concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
Good evening, Wally Sweeney, Chairman of the Plainfield Conservation Commission. Thank you, Sue and Paul Sweet, for your comments. They all hit the nail on the head, if you will. It's more complicated than I think everybody thinks it is, this whole proposal. I have a couple of things that I'm concerned with, especially the up to 1,200 square feet would be allowed. I think 1,200 square feet is excessive because that's the size of a small house. Even Paul said that. You know, that's, you know, I live in a 1,200 square foot house. You know, I know the size of it. That's, you know, definitely the size of a house. So 900 square feet would probably be the max. far as I'm concerned. And then the setbacks, size, there's no lot size limitation other than the yard setbacks. I'm not in favor of that. And allowing the ADUs by right, I think they still should be by special permit. And the limit of 2 occupants per unit, I think we should keep that too. Overall, I don't think we should change too much that we already have. Maybe just a few tweaks, if it even gets to that point.
Can I ask a question? I'd like to ask you a question.
Yes.
Because I've had a few people approach me on some. You live in 1,200 square feet right now.
Yes.
Do you want to go live in 900 square feet? If you've been living in 1,200 and you want to move in with your children, do you want to go to 900 square feet?
A lot of people are downsizing there. They would probably be okay with that.
Do you want to do that?
I would, if I was at that stage, I would be okay with 900.
Well, there's a lot of people out there that don't want to take that kind of a step back to live with their kids in an accessory apartment. That's part of the problem that I'm hearing about. It's 900 square feet. I think there's a problem with wheelchairs in there, what I've heard. So 900 square feet is not really a lot of, 600 square feet is not a lot of space, so no, 900, and they're on 12, so I'm just wondering if
Well, I said 900
it's
would be the
good for you.
max.
It would be good for you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But 1,200, I think, is not even into a
I know, that's
house.
what you're living in. That's
Yeah.
what I'm living in.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Jenny Kipsikevich, 265 Gendron Road. I have a couple questions. When the Board of Selectmen opted out and chose not to use or adopt the language the state of Connecticut proposed, were they required to do something to meet that former language?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Meaning when most things get opted out, they have to adopt something else. So, okay, that was my first question. The second one is, any calendar year, Ryan, handpick one. What does the data show under the former language? How many special permits were pulled for accessory apartments?
4 to 6 a year, maybe.
Okay,
Could be less. It all depends on the year.
perfect. Thank you very much. As a large property owner, I really appreciate the fact that the board is considering this because there are certainly some of us who could have something like this. So I do appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Would anyone else like to speak? Okay.
Motion to continue?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to continue this public hearing until next month.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll continue this until May. All right, moving on to our regular meeting. Call to order. We'll start on the left again. Kevin Hoppy,
June Gagnon.
John Meyer,
Raj Shivak?
John Bray?
Mary Ann Gennati?
Katie O'Neill.
and additions or corrections to the agenda.
We do have 3 items to add under new business.
Okay.
So, under new business, we have B, Skinnell Properties, number 639 LLC, care of Daniel Madrigal, requesting site plan approval to construct a 1 million square foot warehouse with 975 parking spaces, associated drives, parking areas, drainage, etc. on property located at 91 to 105, 107, 113, and 143 to 151 Plainfield Pike, Industrial 2 zoning district. Also C, Norwich LLC, requesting a map amendment from RE30 to Industrial 1 for property located at 1279 Norwich Road, Assessor's Map 5, Block 4C, Lot 14. And D, Norwich LLC, requesting a map amendment from RE30 to Industrial 1 for property located at 0 Toker Road, Assessor's Map 5, Block 4C, Lot 15.
Okay.
Motion for Ann.
Motion. Add these to the agenda.
Motion?
I'll
Did she
second.
motion? Oh, motion. You seconded?
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, those items are added. Is there any citizen participation, and this is outside of the items on the agenda? Hearing none, I'll move on to unfinished old business. Z 2021-2214, continuation of Spicer Road Realty LLC, requesting a special permit for earth excavation for property on, located on Black Hill Road, Accessory Map 7, Lot 53A, Lot 55. Okay. You should probably step outside on this. Is there anyone here to speak for the applicant?
This is, public hearing has been closed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Bill Russ.
Yes, that's the public hearing for the ADUs. Yes, I'd make a motion to close it.
Hang on,
Okay.
we're dealing with this.
Oh, okay.
special road.
Oh, okay. I thought,
No, I know.
Yeah, so the public hearing for Spicer Road Realty LLC has been closed. We are in deliberation right now. We only have 3 members here. And Kevin, I'm not sure, were you here for those public hearings?
I was not.
Okay, so we only have 2 members that are present for the public hearing, so we're going to have to continue until next month.
Yes, good idea. I would entertain a motion.
okay, I'll make a motion to continue it next month.
All in favor? Oh, we need a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, next one. Z 2022-2283, continuation of United Ag and Turf Northeast, requesting permission to construct a 7,780 square foot addition, pavement modifications, and drainage improvements for property at 20 Excalibur Boulevard, Accessories Map 17, Block 11, Lot I-32, C zoning district.
And this has been scheduled for a public hearing on May 10th. We can just table it until next month.
Okay, motion to table.
I make a motion on table.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. And 2022-2275 of the Planning and Zoning Commission applying for the amendment to the zoning regulations for accessory dwelling units. For a motion on the ADU.
Continue until next month. For ADUs.
Okay. You want a motion for me?
Well, just one of the
Oh, I'm
proceedings.
sorry. Oh, okay.
Yes, I'll make that motion. We'll table it until next month.
Okay,
I'll second.
motion to continue, seconded.
May
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. American Industries requesting a special permit for earth excavating at 0 College Road and Root Road, Assessors Map 5, Block 3, Lot 1A, RA60 zoning district. Since this is a special permit, it requires a public hearing.
So we make a motion to send this to a public hearing on May 10th. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the additions to the agenda. Scannell Properties, number 639 LLC, requesting site and plan approval to construct a 1 million square foot warehouse with 975 parking spaces, associated driveways, parking area, drainage, etc. on property located at 91-105, 107, 113, and 143-151 Plainfield Pike Industrial 2 District.
Wetlands Commission, we are not going to act on it.
Okay. Motion to schedule this for,
We're going to schedule it for May 10th also. Okay, I'll make a motion.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
This does not need a public hearing.
Oh, it doesn't need a public
that's right.
hearing, so
it
it's
just
just...
needs to be continued.
Just continue.
Okay, I'll make a motion to continue it till May 10th.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Norwich LLC requesting a map amendment for RA30 to Industrial 1 for property located at 1279 Norwich Road, Accessory Map 5, Lot 4C, Lot 14. Map amendment does require a public hearing.
I'll make a motion to send it to public hearing
For May 10th?
for May 10th.
Do I have a second?
That doesn't
Second.
allow the 35 days. It would have to be June.
Okay, I'll amend my name to June.
35 days
June,
for what?
whatever that date is.
Notification
To-
of the COGS.
This does not have to go to the COG, it's not within 500 feet of the town line.
Oh, okay.
We'll go back to May 10th.
Is it on May 10th?
Yes.
All right.
Second May 10th.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item D, Norwich LLC requesting a map amendment for RA30 to Industrial 1 for property located at 0 Topher Road, Assessors Map 5, Block 4C, Lot 15. Again, the map amendment requires a public hearing. Someone entertain a motion to
Also for May 10th? Or you can, okay, I'll make a motion for this map amendment for public hearing
public hearing.
for May 10th.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And any opposed? All right, hearing none. We will review and act on the minutes of March 8th. Anyone has any changes, additions, edits?
I didn't see anything.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes
As written?
as written.
As written, I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, do we have any correspondence?
No, we do not.
Report from the zoning enforcement officer.
I do not have a report today.
Okay. Report from planning and engineering.
Nothing, planning and zoning.
Sorry.
Nothing other than my submitted written report.
Okay. All right, anything else on the other? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all for coming.